Welcome to Plumbing Around, sponsored by Temecula, Winnelson. I'm Scott Thornton. I'm here today with Deborah Hartnett.
Hi, Scott.
Inspired Business Performance.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Let's start with, what is that, Inspired Business Performance?
Well, it's a business performance company, and what I do is I inspire, I empower, and I give my business owners the tools to not only live a fulfilled business life, but also live fulfilled in their personal life as well, and make sure that they're designing their business to fit their life and not the other way around. Because we know as entrepreneurs, it's very easy for the business to get away from us. And then all of a sudden we're missing kids' activities. We're missing out on the hobbies we used to enjoy. We're not taking care of ourselves. So it's about the whole package.
It can easily, I found for me, consume you.
Oh, yeah,
And
it can. Mhm.
yeah, take over.
Mhm.
And that was one of the things that stood out about to me. You said transform your business and life.
Mhm.
And right, they're connected, don't you think?
They are connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell my business owners, and I'm not for everybody, right? There are some people that just are not interested in looking inwardly, right? They don't either see the value, or I personally think it's deeper than that. I think it's facing things that we don't want to face, and it's hard. It's hard. So, I say you cannot transform your business without some kind of personal transformation. So to the degree that you're willing to grow is the degree in which your business will grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it starts inside first.
Mhm.
That's what I found for sure. Another one of the things I read about of yours was align your actions with your purpose, your life, your values.
Yep.
How can you explain that? I mean,
Sure.
I know I didn't have any idea about that years ago.
Yeah. Well, I say I'm all about, so my purpose is that people live a fulfilled, joyous life now, today, not someday when they have this or when life looks this way. No, like right now. Just between you and me, how do we have joy and fulfillment in this moment? Well, it starts with connection, but even before then, I said it starts with connection, but I think even before that, it's being connected to who you are, what you value, and ultimately that's your purpose, right? So your values are your purpose. I value love. I value joy. I value connection. And so I went to work for myself on how do I have a joyous, fulfilled life now, not someday, right? And in the process, over 11 years, came up with this system to align your purpose, because that's what it starts with. It starts with, am I living my life? Are my friends a reflection? Are my actions a reflection? Is my business a reflection? Are my clients a reflection of what really matters to me at my core?
Can you help someone find their, I want to say values, but yeah, their values. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what my values were, my core values, I want to align myself with until I worked with somebody. Is that something you can help with?
It's the foundation of everything I do. It's the very first thing I do with people. Even people who say, oh, we already have our, because a lot of businesses, especially Fortune 500s, which is where I came from over a decade ago, the value statement, the mission statement, all of that kind of thing. But I go deeper. It's almost, I'm not a therapist, but it can occur like therapy in a way, because we really delve deep into your past, into your childhood, into those moments in your life that formed you, right? And that's where your values come from, is, deep inside you from the experiences that you had usually at a young age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who screwed me up first?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think our parents do the best they can. And some of us, I'm lucky. I did have pretty amazing parents, and they had their things too, right? They really had their things. And, I think we're both parents, and I believe it's my responsibility to break that generational trauma, which is another thing that I, stand for with my clients. How do you live a joyful, fulfilled life if you're carrying around pieces of the past that aren't even yours?
Yeah.
You inherited them. How do you live a created life when most of your life isn't your life? It's inherited. It's either from your parents, or it's from society or the community, whatever it is, right? So it's about peeling away all of those layers that's anything but who you really are at your core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, being that brick wall for your kids, so you're not passing on all the ancestral garbage that's
I
been
see what you
dumped
mean
on
by
you,
brick wall. You
right?
mean like this will not pass
Right.
here.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Because that's what happens to pretty much everybody, and people don't even realize it.
Nope. And it will I mean, listen, I know I passed some stuff on to my kid, and I'm conscious.
Yeah.
So people who just don't have that awareness, you can imagine, and that's just my commitment, is that I pass on as little of that as possible to him, and he gets the good stuff, and
Mostly.
and that's what I'm that's my goal, is that he gets the good stuff, and the other stuff is gone, but imperfectly, of course.
Yeah, we're all human.
Very human. Very human.
There's a lot of trips in my in my journey. So another thing I like that you talk about is mindset mastery.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, like, it's hard. What are the steps? How do you do that? What's mindset mastery to you? Because to me, I guess it's discipline and like you said, breaking these things that have been handed down to you or by society. Mm-hmm. So what's your take on mindset mastery, and how the hell do you start doing that?
Yeah, I think, I'm thinking about it now, and I don't want to get in a big, long philosophical conversation, because I can. But so I was going to get into a philosophical. I won't do that. There's mindset mastery, and I call it mindset mastery, but really it's self-mastery. Mm-hmm. And I say self with a capital S, as in soul mastery, as in, again, who we are at our core. Well, you got to start with the machinery, like a car, right? I am not a master with a car. I know the kind of car I drive. I know how to steer it. Some people would say I'm not a good driver. I think I'm an okay driver. But I couldn't tell you a lot of what's under the engine. Right? So it starts with understanding how we work as human beings. And so, yes, it's the biology. A lot of it's neuroscience. Again, I'm not a neuroscientist. I've just, for 23 years, every single day, I'm studying some form of human potential, human capacity, human function, human behavior, anything to do with a human being, from physicality to our minds to our spirits. That's my commitment. And so mindset mastery is really self-mastery if you know the way a human being operates, which is most of it's between the ears. So our nervous system, right? Everything is regulated by our brain, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not a scientist. I'm really dumbing this down because I'm
you got the right audience right here.
And so. I'm a layman myself. And so that's really, I'm fascinated by neuroscience, the way the brain works. And so that's what it starts with, is understanding how the brain works, how we get formed as human beings as we grow up, how we limit ourselves. A lot of times we say, oh, well, it was my mother, or it was my father, or, I had big trauma, right? Big T trauma, rape, all that kind of stuff. And it happens, and I've worked with people with have been through hell. I didn't have the best childhood, but compared to a lot of people, mine was like a fairy tale, but all of that, right? It's peeling away the layers to self.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you stay connected to self in a world that doesn't support
Yeah.
being
It does
connected
not
to self?
function that way.
No, it's like the total opposite,
Yeah.
right? And so those are the types of clients that come to me. They are business owners, they're dreamers, they're disruptors. They have vision, but they also recognize that any road to self-fulfillment comes with self-mastery, mindset mastery.
Mm.
Did I answer the question? Because I
I
can
think so.
ramble.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It was very interesting because it was a lot deeper than I was thinking,
Mm.
but I love that. Because it was, and that leads to something else I read on your website was peace of mind.
Mhm.
And I feel like that leads directly into the peace of mind because I was looking for that for so long
Mm.
because I had the and believing outside stories and everything. I just wasn't very nice to myself.
Yeah.
And so again, for me, the mindset mastery and getting to know yourself and everything like that leads to peace of mind. Does that sound?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, peace, 100 just percent peace. So I'm my own guinea pig. I tell my clients all the time, if I'm giving this to you, I've given it to myself,
Mm.
right? And so we're talking, it's been 23 years since I've started this journey of self-mastery.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're never a master. Masters will say, I have a hard time calling myself a master coach, even though I am a master coach, because I'm not done. I'm not done.
Right.
I'm continually growing and growing and growing. What was the question again?
Well, just about the peace of mind.
Oh, the peace of
and
mind.
leading,
Oh my
doing
gosh,
that
it's
work can lead to the peace of mind.
such a great question.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that leads to peace of mind is peace within yourself. Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Well, the point is you be the change within yourself. You can't give something away to someone else that you do not have. And so your peace starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you not at peace with? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's
And trust me, so
transformative.
yes, in my early 30s is when I started all this. I know it's hard to believe that I'm 55, but I am. Um, and in my
I'm
early,
17.
yeah, I didn't say mature wise. I just said age wise.
Yeah.
But no, I started this self-growth journey back in my early 30s. And I was riddled with anxiety, riddled with it. I had so many sleepless nights and my mind wouldn't shut off.
Mm.
And I was so self-deprecating, had no self-esteem. I really was a mess. Now on the outside, I don't think I occurred like a mess. But like I said, just I had no self-esteem. I had no sense of my place in the world. And so, yeah, I had anxiety. I had an eating disorder. I, turned to every stimulant. I thank God I didn't get into hard drugs. Thank goodness. I don't know why, but I just never did. Thank goodness. Or gambling or anything like that. But sure, alcohol, 100%.
Yeah.
Being promiscuous, at a young age, just had no peace, no
Anything to shut off the.
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a dopamine seeker, right? Like that's another whole other topic that we could talk about. But the journey starts with you. I believed in myself somehow enough to say there's got to be more. I don't want to go through life like this. Okay, great. My career looks great. I'm climbing the ladder, but there was no fulfillment and joy within myself.
Yeah. When you're hollow.
Yeah,
What's the point?
exactly. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that connection that I wanted to feel 100% at peace just being by myself with no noise, not even like things playing in my ear. Like, could I just sit
Yeah, that's
and
tough
just
though, isn't
listen
it?
to, but it isn't anymore for me. I crave it.
Mm.
I seek out places where I can go now for peace. I go to my yoga studio, and now my growth is not getting annoyed when someone whispers, because you're supposed to be quiet in the yoga studio. That's what I go for. I don't go for the yoga. I go for the peace. I go for the quiet, right? I moved on to 6 acres so that I could just listen to the birds in the morning.
So when we met, and I
Mhm.
think we were both like, oh, that's an interesting person.
Mhm.
I think I like how you incorporate the spiritual part. Not religion, but spiritual, right?
Mhm.
Your energy centers, your vibration, your inner peace, all that stuff. I guess, what made you think those all connected and brought it together for you? Being business and that.
Mhm.
What was the
My
catalyst?
own journey.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I would say 11 years ago when I started consulting, uh, there was no spirituality or peace or
Mm.
anything. It was, how do you build the business? And there was some purpose, but it wasn't said that way. It was more like, what are you creating? What's your big vision,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was connected, but really it wasn't until I was starting to seek it in myself, like in business, and I started to work for myself. I didn't have my own label, my own brand, but I was working as an independent, and it's, started to just be like, there's more to this. There's more to me.
Mm.
There's it's the meaning of life thing. Really, it is. Like me or not like me, I'm a really deep person. And if you sit beside me, we will talk about the weather for about 2 seconds, and then I want to know you.
Or I'm getting up and moving.
Or I'm just gonna say, yeah, like
Yeah.
I put my headphones on if I'm like, I like to go to this local pub once or twice a week. Actually, I
Mhm.
love to be around the people. You know what I mean? And it's not about the drinking. Like I'm not like a huge drinker. It's the people. And being there, eh, everybody wants connection.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a human.
Everybody wants connection. And I think when you're a safe space, people open up. And I don't go there for that, but I'm just saying, like, I really get a kick out because
Well,
I'm just
it's
not a small talk
interesting,
person.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fulfilling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
connection. I don't know how we got on that or where I said that. I don't know, but
I like how you incorporate it
oh, how
with
yeah.
your,
So it
yeah.
started with me again. And if you really like, that's another thing that I think a lot of people, that's how your life, I think, stays a little bit hollow and disconnected, is if you're disconnected. So if you've got your family in a box, your family life in a box, your friend life in a box, your work life in a box, and you've got different personas, well, I can't be that at work,
Mm.
and I can't be this at home, and then I'm this way with my friends, then you're disconnected.
Yeah, you're leading a false life.
Yeah. And there's no freedom in that. And so I've always, like, there's for sure innate in me had been this, I just want to be free,
Mm.
and I don't mean free like I have all the money in the world. And, people think if you have all the money in the world, you're free. No, I've met people who have way too much money and they are not free. They're no more free than any other person who hasn't done the inner work. It
Right.
has nothing to do with how much money you have or how much money you don't have. It really is the inner work.
Yeah. 1,000%. Now you've got your own podcast.
I do.
What is it called?
It's called The Inspired Entrepreneur.
And what do you share on there?
Oh my gosh. All of this. All of this.
I know. I've watched
As a
them.
matter of fact,
Yeah.
I just interviewed you on my podcast, didn't I, Scott?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. All of this. This is me. I cannot tell you like how thrilled, how elated, how fulfilled I am with what I'm doing in work, what I'm doing with the podcast. It's literally just bringing anything I'm interested in the terms of being a fulfilled, joyful human being, but it's focused on entrepreneurs, right?
So you like Mel Robbins?
I love Mel. Mel, if you ever hear this, which you probably never will, but that's okay. Well, maybe not.
Hey,
maybe.
wait a
Do you know
second.
Mel? Scott, do you know Mel?
Not personally yet, but
Not yet. Exactly.
you never know.
Oh no, I'm telling you, when I get to sit down with her, I have a story for her because, yeah, you're gonna make me cry. But yeah, and then one day I just was like, that's who I want to be for entrepreneurs. That's who I am for my clients, right? Is like I'm a friend, but I'm more than a friend. It's more like that why. And I say I'm the wise friend. I mean, I also have friends that are wise. I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all of anything.
I'm usually the wise ass friend. But.
And well, that too, that too. But just really ultimately the space of my podcast, what I wanted for people was to feel like they had a safe place, like a respite where they could breathe. Where they could just be themselves, where they could embrace their humanity. You had a shit day. Okay, you had a shit day. I'm sorry. Do we do explicitive?
Yes, we do.
Explorate all of the swear words on this show? Yes. Okay, good. There you go. So, okay. Yeah. But that's really the feel of my podcast is there's no way you have to just show up to this podcast. And at the end of it, you'll feel more yourself. You'll feel more centered. It's not a rah-rah. It's a
when we did it, it just felt like we were having a conversation and I loved where it went and the questions and this is it. Yeah. It was nice. I really enjoyed it.
Nowhere to be.
Yeah.
Nowhere to get.
Yeah.
Although they do get stuff, but I think it's sorely missing right now. It's very noisy out in life right now. Very noisy.
Yeah.
And I want to bring some peace and some quiet to people.
Very nice. And where can they find your podcast?
They can find it anywhere.
Okay.
Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Just look for The Inspired Entrepreneur with Deborah Hartnett.
Right.
There's a few inspired entrepreneurs out there.
But it's not Deborah Hartnett.
But it's not Deborah Hartnett. That's right. But hey, the world could use a lot more inspired entrepreneurs, couldn't they?
Just a lot more inspiration, period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what the root word of inspiration is?
No.
Well, it's why I called my business the way I did, why I called the podcast. It comes from the Latin root inspire, which is to breathe life into.
Really? I love that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I see. I learned something today. I like that. I like that. So what's your history then? What's your experience? Where did you come from? And what made you decide, I'm going to do this on my own? I'm going to start this.
I have had quite a bit of a life. It's 55 years. So I'm Canadian by birth. So I moved here when I was 30. I was in the IMAX industry, in the large format film industry. And I was hired by a company up where the studios are, in Hollywood, Burbank, that area. And so I was in that world when I moved to California. I had been an actress, and I'm an artist, at heart, I'm an artist. And I'm a humanist. I'm about human beings. That's what I'm about. I can say that now. I didn't know that back then. But that's how I got my start was, if you're an actor and you're really an actor, you're not like, oh, I want to be a movie star. It's like you're in it for the art of it. It's all about embracing your humanity and giving permission. When you go see a play or you go to a movie, you are given permission to come along with that person's story, right? So you feel what they feel. And the better the actor, the more you feel it, right?
Okay.
So it's really being real under imaginary circumstances. So that's life right now. When you're an actor and you're on the stage, you're being sad. You're not acting sad. If a real actor is being sad, like in that moment. And that's what I want for all people, is to live fully. It's all the emotions, even this, like the sadness, the anger, all of it. It's all part of the human experience, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where I started. And so if you look at my life, some people might go, it's kind of interesting and I don't quite see the correlation. But the thread I think throughout was my desire to experience the human experience and have other fully experience the human experience.
Yeah, well, and that's where a lot of trouble comes in, because people try to just have the good and not the bad.
Exactly.
So,
and you just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. So, so from there, I did this personal growth and development course called the Landmark Forum. And it's been around since I think the early 90s. And it was something else in the 70s. And it was groundbreaking at the time. And so I did it in 2003. And I went kicking and screaming. A friend of mine just would not shut up about it. And so I finally said, fine, I'll do it. But then we don't have to ever talk about it again, because that's how much this guy would not shut up about it. And so I went and did it, and I ended up like taking everything, like everything they had to offer. And then I ended up training to be able to actually lead the transformational courses. And so that's kind of where I got my start in training and development back in 2003. So I never looked back. And that's when I realized this is what I want. I want to help people get access to their humanity, to completing their past, to ending the trauma, so you can live fully now and be your real authentic self, you know? So that's where it started. And then from there, I just studied other modalities and ended up working for a consulting firm that needed a lot of the people who were trained in the methodologies that I was at the time. And that's kind of how I got into the business world. Back in 2008, I worked for large corporations in a consulting capacity, where we would bring teams together from different companies or what have you that needed to gel very quickly, right? And so what were we doing? We were stripping away all the things that were in the way of them being able to be connected and be on the same page and be productive and fulfilled in the moment, so that they could make the impact they were out to make with whatever it was they're up to. So that's kind of how I got into the business world. And the final thing that sort of pushed me over the edge to finally start my own business was a divorce. Yeah. So in 2014, I had been married for not quite 5 years. I had a 3-year-old and found myself facing a divorce, which I, at the time, didn't want. It was a surprise to me. And then a new growth journey began, right? I had a 3-year-old son. I was at the time staying home. I had left the consultancy firm when I had him. And I was going to go back to that world at some point when he was back in school. And so I had to, I was like, do I go back there? And I did explore that a little bit. But then I started thinking about all the travel, because I traveled a lot as a consultant, and his father traveled a lot, and he was 3. And again, I have friends, they were like, that's fine. I'm going to travel. We have someone to help take care of the child or whatever. And I think everybody should have a choice. What I wanted was to be present for my son. That was the most important thing to me. I didn't care about anything else. But the reality is, you do have to be able to support yourself, right?
Money is important.
And so that's when I was like, well, what do I do? Well, I'm going to create something. I'm going to create the doing what I love, which was what I was doing. But I'm going to do it in a way where I don't have to travel. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. And so I just went and had a lot of conversations with people, and I found a consulting firm who accepted me that I wasn't going to travel. And the exchange for that, though, was you're kind of on your own. You're not getting a salary. You're commission-based only. And that's where the entrepreneurial part of me started, because it was all me. Right?
Oh, damn, I got to hustle.
Exactly. But the great thing was I got to be there for my son. And that's what I wanted. And so I started working with a lot of small businesses at that time. And my mom was a small business owner, and I just fell in love with it.
Mm.
I realized I really am an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just admired the boldness, the craziness that you you kind of have to be a little crazy, definitely not risk averse, and then 3 years ago, I stopped going under other people's brands and said, nope, it's time. I'm ready. I really know the message that I have and what I have to offer, and I'm ready to spread my wings and go for it.
Yeah.
So there's my story. I told you it was a long story. Oh my God, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Good for you, though.
But exhilarating.
Yeah.
Exhilarating. The podcast. Because I'm really putting myself out there. Like I think I'm doing something a little different. Maybe I think I am. And I'm very vulnerable on it. I share a lot about my life.
Mm-hmm.
Things that my clients that have been working with me for years, if they listen to the podcast, will not have known. You're literally exposing yourself, and that's leadership, though. If you want to make any kind of difference, you're going to expose yourself in some way. It's inevitable.
And being vulnerable is a form of helping people and
Of course,
being a leader and going first and showing, hey,
the best leaders
okay.
are vulnerable.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, right? The best leaders have vulnerability in them. You can relate to them. It's not that they're spineless, but they don't need to use force.
Mm.
What they use is their connection to people, and they're good at understanding what people need and what they want, but in an authentic way. And they empower people to be that or to do that versus forcing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Strong arming.
Yeah.
Different type of leadership. Both leaders,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just I prefer the servant leadership.
Right.
Is what I prefer. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what's Deb like to do outside of work?
Well, first of all, I'm really committed. Like, you'll hear fun come out of my mouth a bazillion times a day. Like with my son, did you have fun? Like at school, did you have fun? Right? It's not like, did you get good grades? No, of course, I'm committed that he does his best, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more interested that he's enjoying his life and he has all the tools so as he grows up, he can continue to enjoy his life, which means you need to be responsible, which means you need to somehow take care of yourself, right? But I'm all about fun. Like, I just want to, I can have fun with you right now. I can have fun doing the dishes. I tell my son, if you're upset, not a problem. You can be upset, but you don't get to get your upset on me. And I'm going to do the best to not get my upset on you. I have bad days. You have bad days. But I'm all about joy. I'm all about fun, connection. And so I like to play pickleball. I'm really bad at it. I love to read, although lately it's mostly Audible books because I'm in denial. I need readers, and I've tried them, and you saw it, right? I was like, I can't read this, Scott.
It is tiny.
This list of questions. I'm like, I can't read it. And I just refuse. I'm like, so I'll either get big print books, right? And I don't like that either. So I've really been listening a lot, but I'm always reading, listening, learning. I love to learn. I ask so many questions. Like, sometimes I realize I can be overwhelming because I will get into something and just go, well, what about that? And tell me more. And So I love to learn. I love to explore. I love hiking. I just finished a 21-mile hike for charity, for Cure Search, for children's cancer research in Northern California.
And you're walking.
And
amazing.
I am now. Yeah. I wasn't a few days ago. Barely. I was limping. But let's see. And I just love spending time with my son and my family and my friends. My family's far away, but I call them, and I'm going to Canada to visit them in a couple of weeks. So, I think like what most people,
Nice.
I just want to have fun and enjoy my life, you know, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, if people would like to work with you or inquire,
Yeah.
how can they get a hold of you? Where can they find
Sure.
out?
Well, I don't know if you have show notes or not, but you could put that in show notes. But it's inspired, spelt inspired dash BP as in businessperformance.com. That's how you find me online for the business. And then
Okay.
if you're looking for the podcast, it's The Inspired Entrepreneur, Deborah Hartnett. And you can find it pretty much on all the podcast channels and on YouTube.
All platforms.
All platforms.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on.
Thanks for
It
having
was so
me.
fun talking with you.
It was fun talking
And
to you too.
that's all I got. You got any last thoughts?
Well, what do you think that people who listen to your podcasts are dealing with right now? What do you think they need or want right now?
Oh, man. That's a deep question. I think there's just a ton of uncertainty out there in the world today, and people are just looking for reassurance and just something to hold on to so they don't feel like they're slipping into the chaos that's being put out in the world.
Yeah.
So that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly insightful, and I would agree with you on that. Well, so then what I've learned about uncertainty is that's the only certainty in life other than death.
True.
Right? Is that everything is uncertain. And so if you can be with it's all uncertain, but the more you know yourself, the more you're at home with yourself, it's not so scary anymore. I wrote a song when I was like 11 about being terrified of nuclear war. And, I was afraid of everything. I mean, you can ask my mom. I was afraid of everything and I couldn't sleep. And so again, this really was my journey. This isn't lip service. I said, I don't want to live this way. I don't want to live this way in fear all the time. Well, that's our amygdala. Like if you learn about the brain, learn about the brain, learn about what it is to be a human being and understand that there is a way for you to be at peace with yourself in the chaos. And that's all I want. And that's all I want for everybody is that we can be peaceful in the chaos.
Well, if people want to do that, come find you.
Come find me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for today.
Okay.
Plumbing around. We're in life and plumbing shit happens. Bye.